Sausage and Peppers is an Italian-American classic that is massively improved, in my opinion, via a two-stage cooking of the sausages. And a heavy hand with the vinegar helps too. I need my biggest pan to make 4 generous portions, a little oil in there, turn the heat on medium, and in goes 4 big Italian sausages. I'm doing 2 hot and 2 sweet. That's a pound and a half of meat, 700 grams or thereabouts. It's easily enough for 4 people with all the vegetables. And I'm going to need to assess the rigidity of my sausage. See, I want to brown these until they're most of the way cooked inside, and by poking them while they're raw, I get a baseline reading of what totally raw feels like. I need to keep rolling these around and browning them until the inside doesn't feel completely squishy anymore. I'm exchanging their places because, contrary to popular belief, cast iron does not actually heat that evenly. The middle of the pan is way hotter. While these are going, I can prep all my vegetables. This is a great thing to do in the summer when they have a bunch of weird sweet peppers at the farmer's market. Get anything that looks cool. There's 2 ways to handle a bell pepper. The first is cut it in half and then just reach in and tear out the stem, ribs, and seeds. Not because they're spicy, they're not. They're just fibrous, not very tasty. Nice big slices there. Remember, they're going to shrink a lot when they cook. Second way is to hold it upright by the stem and then fillet off the sides. Cut away the flesh that you do want. The part that you don't want will be the only thing left standing. I have no idea which method I prefer. What I do know for sure is that when you slice them, it's better to slice into the flesh side. The skin side is tough and slippery. The knife could easily slide off. In contrast, the blade bites much more readily into the flesh side. Plus, it lays flatter. This is a time when I want a real onion, not a shallot. I want those thicker layers. These will cook in the same time as the peppers, and I want a lot of onions. Again, nice big wedges. So we've got 3 large bell peppers and 1 big onion. That'll give us roughly equal volume vegetables and meat once cooked. Speaking of which, my hot sausage has exploded. It happens. Keep rolling these around, get really nice brown color on all sides, gentle heat, a little below medium now. I don't want stuff on the bottom of the pan to burn before these are almost cooked through. I can feel they're about there. When I poke them, they're bouncy but still a hair squishy in the center, which is perfect. Slide the pan off the heat for a minute so nothing burns in there, and out the sausages come to my board. At this stage, you could just cut these into little rounds, maybe at an angle to make them look a little prettier, but I'm going to unseam them from nave to the chaps. This is a lot easier if you have an extra long carving knife. Right down the middle, and there you can see they're still a little pink, which is perfect. This way they won't be overcooked by the time we're done with them. Pan back on the heat now, and I'm going to lay these in cut side down. This is one of those situations where if they don't quite fit now, they will in a minute after everything cooks and shrinks some more. We're going to get some beautiful brown color on the cut sides of the sausage. If we had not pre-cooked them before we cut them, well then the soft raw sausage would have just spilled out of its sheath. But my hot Italian sausage is well contained today thanks to the sponsor of this video, Sheath. These are boxer briefs designed with special anatomical considerations for us gents. They keep our gents up, and away from our meaty chicken thighs, thus reducing all manner of friction-related ailments and inconveniences. 3 separate compartments for your sausage and peppers. They were invented by a U.S. Army soldier marching through Iraq. Here in the sweltering heat of Macon, Georgia, I appreciate how cool, soft, and breathable the fabric is. Sheath makes lady stuff too, by the way. If you find that your casings are a little too restrictive, do us both a favor, click my link in the description, sheathunderwear.com/Ragusia. Use my code Ragusia and get 20% off. Save 20% on your sheath with my link and code in the description. Thank you, Sheath. Now, these I'm definitely going to have to juggle around the pan. The ones around the edge are not nearly brown enough yet. I want delicious sizzling crust on every square millimeter. The thinner pieces can come out first. Those are done. Look at that, am I right? No real rush here. We're going to reheat the sausages before we eat them so they can have all the time they require, and then into all that hot fat and fond goes our vegetables. At this point, I'd turn the heat up a bit. There's so much mass in there, so much water to deglaze the bottom of the pan, nothing is going to burn anytime soon. You just have to keep it all moving and rotating, bring stuff up from the bottom onto the top and vice versa. Like all vegetables, these will continue to cook and noticeably soften as we're doing our final touches and scooping stuff onto plates, so you want to start wrapping things up well before they are as tender as you want them in the end. I'm going to deglaze with at least a 1/4 cup of red wine vinegar, like 60 mils, or any vinegar, really. A lot of people just use wine. I think this does well with much more acidity, especially if you balance it with a spoonful of sugar. Mix everything everything together and scrape off the pan, and you get this dark brown sweet and sour syrup coating everything. It's the best. Grab a pepper and taste it. We need a lot more salt in there and some pepper. I'm tempted to add some hot sauce or chili flakes, but I gotta remember I'm eating this with spicy sausages, so it'll all balance out in the mouth. Speaking of which, sausages back in. It's a slightly awkward maneuver, but you can get everything tossed around in that pan sauce and reheated. In fact, I'm going to turn the heat off. There's plenty enough in the pan. Last thing is some fresh herb. This is one of the few contexts in which I like fresh oregano. The floral notes of it just work well with the peppers, but thyme or basil would be great. Now, what do you do with this? I say just eat it. Put the pan in the middle of the table to keep everything hot, give people a pair of tongs and some plates, and you got a super satisfying low-carb meal. If you used plant-based sausages, it'd be vegan. But if you must have a starch, consider polenta. There's like 3 cups of water up to a boil in there, a pinch of salt to get it started, and just half a cup of finely ground cornmeal. You only need a little for soft polenta. You got to whisk continuously as it gelatinizes just to keep any lumps from forming, and then you can just take the heat all the way down to low and let it sit for a while. It's edible now, but it'll get softer and creamier as it cooks for at least a half an hour, I'd say. You can add more water if you think it needs it. When you're close to eating, you can melt in as much butter as you can justify. Grate in a little parmesan or pecorino. A little goes a long way in polenta. Taste for seasoning, and here's an easy trick to make this look sexy. Plop it on the plate and then tilt the plate around. Let the polenta run into a beautiful even layer all across the plate. You don't need much. It almost serves as a sauce or a gravy for everything as much as it serves as a starch. That is the white tablecloth version of this dinner. For the white tank top version, get yourself a hoagie roll and toast it under the top element for a minute. No more than that or it'll be brittle and tear. Another advantage of cleaving your sausages is they are now drier, pleasantly drier. This sandwich doesn't spurt all over your open-chested tracksuit when you bite into it. Doesn't even need mustard because it's got that sweet vinegar. Tastes like a fair to me. I've got to find a poorly inspected Ferris wheel to climb on now.